How many people have ever been on a really bad date? I'm talking about really, really. That's not too bad. Why's your hand up? It wasn't with me, right?
Do you want me to
No, we're not being honest tonight. How y'all doing? Boy, that sounds really weak. How y'all doing? Good deal. Well, if you're new to Destiny Church, my name is Stephen Chandler, the senior pastor. And man, we're just excited. We're honored that you guys are here. Tonight actually sparked from Shea and Fumi and Simon and one of the craziest connect groups we have ever had in our life last semester. It was a game night connect group here that was supposed to be like 12 people, and it turned into like 90. And it was like, this is a small church. This is insane. This is crazy. But I really wish, because I'm an introvert, and we'll talk about all that tonight, but I wish somebody had set something like this up for me when I was single and dating and all that other good stuff. So what I am doing is returning a favor to y'all for what nobody ever did for me. And that is our attempt is to take the awkward and the weird and the discomfort off of finding A, somebody to date, and B, finding someone to spend the rest of your life with. I find the church is the best place to find somebody to spend the rest of your life with. Now, it's not everybody. Some people in here are crazy, and church or not, we ain't messing with you. But it is the best place on the planet Earth. But sometimes you don't know what to do because you're like, do I act like I was at school? Do I act like I'm at work? Is it like, what are the rules? What are the guidelines and all that? So you guys have been throwing questions in for the last 3 weeks. So we're going to kind of jump through those. There should be some microphones in the auditorium. Are there some microphones out there? If I get you guys to figure that out, Devin. And for those of you guys that are like bold enough to stand up and like disagree with what we say, I have no problem with that at all. I want this to be the most ignorant night you have ever had in church. I want this to get to a level of ignorance that you're like, I'm not even sure if we're allowed to do that in church, but we're just gonna go there. I wanna introduce our panel and then we're gonna jump right in. First and foremost, the beautiful, the lovely, the best thing that's ever happened to me, Zainab Inger Chandler. You don't have a name tag on. Say hi to the people.
Hi, everybody.
Stayed up all day to get lucky. All right, we got Samson and Katrina. Can y'all say hello?
What's good?
Hi.
Now, Samson and Katrina are married. How long y'all been married?
So it's been about, 6 months now? So we're pretty young in the game, you know what I'm saying? Still learning, but yeah, we're pretty young in the game.
And how long did you guys date before you got married?
Oh, okay.
Uh-oh.
Like a year, no, 2 years?
It was about 2 years.
About 2 years?
Yeah,
Okay,
2 years.
cool. So you're going to give us the, hey, here's how we got
Tips.
there,
Yeah.
how you knew it was the one, how you
Definitely.
pulled the trigger, all that other good stuff. Then on the panel behind, we'll start with Sonia Crosby. Can y'all give it up for Sonia Crosby? Say hi to people, Sonia.
Hello, people.
Good deal. And I'm gonna be real ignorant tonight. Are you married? Are you single? Are you engaged?
I'm single.
Single. Woo! Single, ready to mingle?
Single and ready to mingle.
Hey,
Yes.
I love it. I love it. All right, next we got Lil Fofo. Come on. He got 4 cars.
And I want FOMO.
Come on, man. Mr. Calvin, word on the street is you are the most eligible bachelor at Destiny Church. Tell us, well, I see you in blue, so that means you're single, right?
I am single.
Hey, single, ready to mingle.
Single, ready to mingle.
What's your credit score? I'm messing. It's gonna be an ignorant night. Huh?
Ask what he looks for in a female?
We want to ask you what you're looking for in a female, but we haven't gotten to the questions yet. So we'll come back to that. You can start ruminating on that. PZ just started trouble.
No, quickly. What are you looking for in a female?
If you could turn her mic up.
Wow, I get put on the spot.
Just
Okay.
right on the spot, bro.
I'm a sucker for nice eyes and a nice smile. Yes.
Oh.
Yes. No?
Do y'all buy that? I ain't buy Girl, your eyes. Oh my gosh. Lying. You know you still in church. It's
I
live.
do like nice eyes and a nice smile.
God bless you.
I do.
Nathan, say hi to the people.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, hey. Are you single, dating, married? What's your status?
Dating.
Who you dating?
Jenny, she's
Wait a- Jenny from the block. Stand up and wave at the people, Jenny. Come on now. Jenny's sitting on the front row talking about he is dating. Don't even worry about it. He is not available. Then we got Tosin. Give it up for Tosin.
Toast.
Tosin, can you greet the people?
You said what?
Can you greet the people?
Hey, y'all.
Are you?
Tosin, you all right? You got to hold the mic up. We can't hear you.
I did not sign up for this. Okay.
But you're up there. Are you single, Tosin?
Yes, I am.
You got to hold the mic up, Tosin. Wait, we can't hear you.
Yes, I am.
Okay. And you ready to mingle?
Ready to mingle.
Perfect. What are you looking for? Don't tell me eyes.
I didn't
She
pray
wants
before
a,
this.
what,
Okay.
about a Tunde? What is this?
You know,
This is fun.
can I come back to me?
Nope.
Okay,
You on the
okay,
spot.
okay.
That's why you up here.
You know. Oh wow. Okay.
You like him tall?
Oh, come on now.
Would you date a short guy?
Would I date a short guy?
What if his money's long?
That's not my ministry. What'd you say?
What'd you say was his money tall? He's tall when he's standing on his money.
Yeah. That's important.
No. Y'all both can't have a mic tonight.
How old are you, Tosin?
25.
25.
25.
Little Fofo, how old are you?
28.
28. And Sonya, do you mind? Am I allowed to ask?
Yeah. So I'm 40.
40. All right, all right.
We gotta ask her what she's looking for.
Huh?
We gotta ask her. What are you looking for?
We did
Sonya?
ask Sonya what she's looking for. Tell us, what you looking for?
You want like the real spiritual answer?
No,
Like the,
no.
The real answer.
We
The
know
real
we gotta
answer.
love Jesus. We know all that. Don't even worry about all that.
What comes to mind?
I'm about to do
A
it.
nice smile and nice eyes. I think
Don't worry, guys.
that's
We're going to get the
safe
truth out of them
answer.
before the night is out. Because this is some foolishness. Finally, we got Shay.
Hi, everyone.
Give it up for Shay, y'all. Shay, tell us your status.
I'm in a relationship.
You are in a relationship. What does that mean? Y'all talking? Y'all dating? Like, talking?
Talking.
Devin, are y'all talking?
talking?
I'm talking about homeboy.
I'm sorry, what?
Tell the people the truth.
Did you know that?
Tell the people the truth.
How did you get a mic?
Tell the people the truth.
I love it. That is so good. So how long have y'all been talking? Which
Talking.
apparently he thought y'all were dating. So
We're dating.
you are dating.
Yes.
Did
It's
you know
official.
that?
Officially.
He knew that. Okay, cool. And how long y'all been dating?
Y'all know.
How long have we been dating?
Is it 5 months? 5 months.
He said
I'm
5
just
months.
kidding. It's been a while. It's been a great time. I don't count y'all. I'm just having fun.
This is so good. All right, so we're going to jump into some questions. You
Yes.
guys don't have to be polite. You can jump in and speak. If you don't, I'll just call you out.
Yes.
And what we may do, and Devin, you have a mic? Is there one on this side of the room? If not, that's okay. What make you run? But if there's something that you're here and you're just like, you don't like eyes and smile, don't give me that foolishness or whatever it may be, we may open it up. You can hop up on your feet. And this is live streaming online. Can y'all say what's up to y'all people? If you got your phone, go ahead, pull it out, go to Facebook, Destiny Church, repost it. Tell them if you didn't get here, I ain't saving nobody for you, but at least you can watch. All right, we're ready with the first one? Y'all ready? Tosin, are you ready? I'm picking on you all night long, Tosin. Keep
You
that mic on.
should. You should.
All right. How does one know the difference between rushing into a relationship and being ready to date? On the other hand, how does one know the difference between not being ready to date and holding back because of fear? That's a long question, ain't it?
That's a very long
Samson,
question.
how did you know you were ready And Katrina, we coming for you next.
Yes.
I think it all depends on your intention for why you want to be in a relationship. I think for me, I knew I was ready because number one, I guess my intention was to find a partner that I knew that I can grow with. My intention was to find a partner that I knew that I can share my life with. And for me, it wasn't something that I wanted to rush into. It wasn't something that I just wanted to be in for the fun of it or because it was, cool. But I knew it was something that I desired. And for me, it was just like I knew there were areas of my life that I need to grow in. So it could be like how I handle my finances. It could be, how I respond when I'm upset. Or it could be, like how do I normally handle stressful situations. So for me, it's just like once I was able to mature in some of those areas of my life, I knew that having a partner, well, number one, it would mature me even faster. But also I knew because, I was just ready in those areas where I felt like were serious areas that I needed to mature in before I, got into that relationship. So.
Katrina, how'd you know you were ready? Because he was fine.
That is a good question. How did I know that I was ready? My answer might be a little too spiritual, so I
Go for it.
apologize.
No, that's good.
But I was living in New York City, and I had reached out to Samson because he's the only photographer that I could think of to take my headshots.
The only.
And I'm in the middle of New York City.
The only.
The only. I don't know why it was like that. I just really couldn't think of anyone else, and I'm in the middle of New York City. But anyway, so I reached out to Sam, and we ended up hanging out for him to take my photos. And the way that we hit off, I don't typically hit off with people that well, like the way that I hit off with him. So I was like, wow, we could really be friends. But I was like, I'm trying to focus on the Lord. So I think
That's real.
No, I'm not even gonna lie. I really blocked him a lot. Yeah.
It was hard.
Oh, okay. Now he's cool because he didn't give up. So that's really good. But I think how I knew that I was ready was just based on how persistent he was and how sensitive he was to my emotions and the things that I've been through in life. So that was probably it for me.
Calvin, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
How do you know you're ready? Calvin, can I ask you a question?
This is a different question?
This is a different question. I'm just going to ask my own question.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Why is it that guys seem like they're just dragging their feet and in no rush whatsoever?
So good.
I have a couple theories, but
Let him-
I want
let
to
him-
hear from you.
You gave me this question?
I did. Do y'all want to know? The people. I feel like we're on a talk show. The people want to know.
So y'all want the honest answer?
Give us a real.
Okay, one, the most obvious is, one, we're just not ready, and two, it's nice to have options.
Yes,
I
come
believe.
on now. I like that. We'll go
Yeah.
back to just not ready. But,
Wow.
So guys are flirts.
Yeah,
Say it like it is.
yeah, I would say so.
I'm gonna get in trouble, but so right after and before I proposed, there was this very sobering, depressing moment of that didn't come out right, did it?
Not at all. Keep
But
talking.
we're gonna be real though. I'm off the market. That was fun.
What was fun?
It's fun when you walk in a room and all the church girls are like,
Okay.
am I right?
Yeah.
And you know it and you just act like you don't see it and you just like, I'm here to serve
Yeah.
today, just here to serve her. But it kind of strokes your ego, which is not good. Did you experience that at all, Samson? I'm just gonna throw you under the bus with me.
Yeah, I have. Oh,
Go
me.
ahead. No, go ahead.
Sorry, my bad.
Go ahead, Calvin. Go ahead, bro.
I have. I can't say that I didn't enjoy it, but because I did, but I've definitely experienced
Because
it.
you are. Because you're still single.
Well, that's because you put me on the spot.
That's the goal.
Okay. Yeah, it's nice.
Okay. Nathan, how'd you know you were ready?
I knew I was ready because at a certain point, having been praying for a relationship, for marriage, and looking for a woman essentially all of my life, knowing that I wanted to get married.
All of your life?
All of my life. All of my life.
Go ahead.
Having known I was going to pursue marriage all of my life, having my parents as an example, I always had a very difficult list to meet. From a spiritual standpoint and from a little bit of a worldly standpoint, as far as aesthetics go, as far as appearance goes, as far as those kind of things go.
Aesthetics.
I feel like Nathan's gonna tell us the truth. He ain't gonna say eyes and a nice smile. Foolishness.
But having that large list and then just seeing those things get checked off as I got to know more and more about Jenny and
Jenny
more,
from the block.
more about her from my friends. Like, oftentimes there's the thing of spying out the land and things like that, observing who you're about to date from afar. Before you even get into the relationship with them, before you even make your move.
So you were
It
stalking.
took me 6 months. No talking. There was just talking to her friends. Oh, stalking, yes. Yes, stalking.
Come on now. Spy out the land.
Yeah. And once I saw that God was meeting all of my criteria, I just decided that this is who I want to pursue. And at a certain point, I just made my move. Now, the story to that, I might not get into just right now. I don't know if you're
We gonna ask him because he just said he. Now we gotta ask you. But yeah. Cool.
So, yeah.
Sonia, you know we still on question 1, right? We gonna get like through 2 questions. Talk about fear. How can somebody know that they're holding back because of fear? Or do you know?
I don't know that you know, because fear can look like a few different things. And so I think maybe some of the excuses we make.
Excuses like?
Okay, this is like a churchy excuse, but I have to get myself together, or I'm trying to accomplish this particular thing, maybe in school, etc. So I think we make excuses as to why we shouldn't date. We're busy. Yeah.
I can answer that.
Go ahead, Telsa.
Hey y'all. So I think you also know it's fear when the standard is what you've been through. So you're comparing that to someone that you've dealt with. And so that's an indicator that it's fear that's holding you back, because everything that you're comparing this person or whoever it may be is from what you've been through and that went wrong. I think that a lot of times we use things that we've gone through that we haven't fully healed from as a paradigm to things that we're gonna go and deal with going forward. So when every time you think about somebody that you would like to would like for them to pursue you, or somebody that you're interested or whatever, if the person that you dealt with prior is always a standard of any sort, right? So this is what I will not deal with, or this is what I will deal with, then you haven't fully let go of that. And I feel like fear is also crippling you from moving forward because of what you've been through, right? So.
That's good. Let's jump on. Okay, so next question. Any tips for introverted, shy people to get past that awkward stage? Go ahead, Toza. Now, Toza, you ain't introverted or shy, so I don't even know why you got something to say.
No, because, listen, I know it can be a little hard. I know it can be like a little intimidating, but I think that you kind of just have to push past that, right? So that awkward, shy phase, I think that it's okay when you are first being around the person, but if they're trying to have a conversation with you and you are mute, or you're just acting like you can't talk, it's like, are you good? It goes from being oh, he's just quiet to nah, he acting kind of weird. So you kind of just have to push past that phase at first. So okay, it's understandable at the very beginning when you're being around that person if it's in a large setting, but if you guys are it's 5 of y'all hanging out or so, don't act like the girl's not there. Don't act like the guy's not there. Don't avoid him. Don't act talk to everyone else but that person, because that's just that's more so socially awkward than anything.
Sounds like a pet peeve.
You know.
Are you an introvert? Talk. I'm making an introvert talk. How did you push past? Was that part of the playing hard to get?
It wasn't a play.
You were just hard to get. Oh, okay. She was hard to get.
It's all good.
Because a lot of people are more introverted than they are extroverted.
How many
so-
people, throw your hands in the air, and women like, you introvert, you're introvert.
Do you see?
My
Good
people, you're in the room.
Lord.
Yeah, I
Put
forget
your
what the
hands
stats
down.
are.
How many extroverts? She stood up. She like,
stood up.
that's me, huh? Good deal. Go ahead.
To be honest, I really think it was Sam that helped me feel comfortable to just be myself. If a person's trying to pursue you and they're really extroverted, I think that really helps. But if you're an introverted person or you're pursuing someone who's introverted, I think just having a little grace for them would be helpful. Just understanding, like, you don't know this person or what they've been through, so maybe them being quiet is not them, like, completely disassociating from you or rejecting you. Maybe it's just they don't know how to be themselves at all. Or maybe they don't know how to be themselves around you. So maybe it's this question I've kind of like turned it to the people that are like doing the pursuing.
And
go ahead.
the alternative is like loneliness, right? So do you want to be introverted and shy
And
or
alone.
lonely? Right. So at some point you got to just step out there and just do it.
I will say for those that are introverted, I think there's always a time where you feel the best, like the prettiest, or I'm speaking specifically to the females. So if you are introverted, you want to work on it, because I've spoken to several people. It's like, I don't even know how to communicate exactly to a guy without it being like awkward and weird. Like, I really don't. Some folks, when it comes to talking to a male, it's like, I really don't know what to say. I clam up and I look at my fingers, or I don't even look at them in the eyes. And so that's some people in this audience. So I would say,
Ooh, that
for
sounds so
you-
specific. You got somebody on your mind? She said, in this room. You know who you are.
the point is, whatever you do to look your best, so whether you like your hair curled, you like your hair short, you like a certain smell and stuff like that, look your best and say, today I'm gonna go out and speak to 3 people. Like, it's gonna be a short conversation. Maybe you write down the questions. Like, I'm gonna ask them, if it's a church that is your first time here, I'm gonna ask them, I'm gonna say, nice shoes, I really like your shoes, or a haircut, oh my goodness, your haircut, you're rocking that, whatever. Sometimes you have to really map it out, and the first couple of incidents might be a little bit weird and awkward, but push past it, because like you said, the alternative is perhaps loneliness. Not saying that you have to change your personality for a man, not saying that at all, but I think you can practice just talking to people and being around them and being comfortable with who you are. But I think when you do look your best and feel your best, whether it's like a favorite, a watch or something, I think that will give you the confidence and the boost to feel okay as you're communicating with them.
I am an introvert.
You are.
And
No, he is. He really is.
people don't think I am because I look like I'm like super energetic. This platform is my house. Like, I'm comfortable up here. This whole church is mine. Put me out somewhere else, and I'm like super introverted. And one of the things that I started doing from college, and I'd really encourage, well, let me say it this way. If I was single at Destiny Church, the girl I'm interested in, I would be on her dream team. And I would put myself in the same environment of her, because there's something that's less pressure filled when it's not just like, and I'm just like standing behind, but there's 10, 15. You know what I mean? But we're working. We got to stuff bulletins together. We got to park cars together. We got to birth babies together. Like, we're working in the same environment or whatever it may be. And after you do that 3, 4, 5 times, you're going to get comfortable. Your stress level is going to drop. And it's going to be easier to drop jokes, to flirt, to whatever it may be. That's a good question. I might throw that one in there. But when it's a bunch of different people and it's not just you intentionally pursuing. I have a question for you guys now that I said that. And then if you have a question out there, we might jump in. Is it appropriate for Christians to flirt? Somebody over here feels very.
Someone said yes.
Sonia, you want to answer? Is that you? Who is?
I think
And I have a follow-up to that. Little fofo, it is appropriate.
I think it is, because they're not going to know that you're interested in them if you just.
What does that look like,
So
though?
that's my. Two questions.
It's different for different people.
2 questions. What does flirting look like? I'm waiting from all y'all. And then, what's too much or what's too far?
Honestly, I think flirting looks different for different people.
What's it look like for you?
For me, wow.
Having too much fun.
For me,
I mean, I'm not gonna have you put all your cards on the table.
I'm really goofy, so I might, crack jokes around you a lot or try to make you laugh. So
Yeah.
that's what it looks like for me. When it gets to the point where it's like awkward and uncomfortable, then I think you're pushing it too far.
Yeah.
So
Yep, cool.
chill out.
Anybody else have something to add?
Tosin? No, what does it look like for a female? Is it appropriate for a female to flirt? Because I know some folks are like, maybe it's not appropriate for a female.
I think it is appropriate for a female to flirt. Excuse me.
You gotta hold the mic up.
Yeah.
I don't see why not. But I think there definitely are boundaries. So it can be something like, oh, you look nice today, or I like your shoes.
Wait. So, oh, you look nice today, or?
Oh, you look nice today. Or that's a nice outfit.
Give me the voice though. Give me the voice.
She does have a voice.
Come on, so I know you got it, Toast. Go ahead, come on, give
You
it,
just
give it,
be
come on.
like, oh, that's a real nice outfit. I like the way you put that together. And then you hit him with the smile, like.
Do you flick the hair or?
You might just, I think the smile always gets them, right? So when you gotta hit the genuine smile though. You can't just be like, you gotta hit the, like, oh,
That
you really
Kawhi
making
Leonard
me
joint.
laugh. Like, you really making me laugh. Yeah, even if he's not saying anything, you just let him know you just so funny. You are just so funny. You
So
are
y'all
a
be
mess.
lying to us.
Liz, you are a mess.
Oh gosh. This will be a good follow-up one to that. Do men ever get to know one woman at a time? Sound like y'all saw room. I didn't even get to finish the question. Or do they get to know multiple until they choose? So I'm wondering, I can't quite understand this question. Is it what's wrong with guys? Do they do it? Is there something wrong with getting to know multiple people?
I almost think you need to ask someone in the audience. If someone's brave enough to
Who's
answer.
brave?
that.
Come on. David, how about right here? Stand up for me. Can y'all give it for David?
So I think it's completely possible to, should I look this way?
You can look right at me, yeah.
Okay, yeah. I think it's completely possible to pursue one person at a time. I pursued my girlfriend like it was only her. Like I wasn't surveying the field. I mean, like there's opportunities when you're like, trying to see what's out there, but when you're committed or like when you're settling on one person, like
Yeah.
that's it.
That's good.
That's
That's
it.
good. That's good.
Does anybody disagree?
I will say this. Somebody in the way back disagrees. Stand up. Come on. Disagree with some boldness. Come on. Yeah. Oh, all the girls disagree.
Oh.
Come on. Talk to me. Give us your name.
Hi, I'm Ashley.
Ashley, how you doing? Are you single?
Yes.
Cool. Look around.
I just kidding.
Go ahead.
So you said get to know, not commit. Be in a relationship, settle down with. Just get to know. So you can get to know a friend or you can get to know someone else. But getting to know is literally just getting to know what's your favorite color, where you from. I can get to know multiple people and you get to know if I like you or not. So it doesn't really need to be super serious when you're getting to know. But if you get to know what you like, then you focus. But
Is it appropriate for guys to get to know multiple women at the same time?
yeah, you can get to know, you get to know the barista at Starbucks if you go every day.
I like Ashley.
I think
But
it's
there's
the whole
levels to
talking versus talking. So
Yeah,
maybe they're talking about you can't be talking to multiple people.
I do think it's manipulative, dishonest, and all that other kind of stuff for a guy to pursue multiple women. I think you can get to know different people in group settings and all that other good stuff, but when it's actually a pursuit, it needs to be one, and if not, that's a problem. Talk to me about this, guys and girls. So you always know when there's somebody who's interested in you, but you don't?
Some people don't.
Some people don't?
I can be naive
I was
sometimes. So,
blind.
You can be naive sometimes?
yeah. So serious.
So let's say you do know. How is it your responsibility to let them know that you're not interested if you're not interested?
Yes.
I don't think so.
Come on, Samson. Come on.
I mean, if someone likes you, that's them. That's their emotions. That has nothing to do with you.
That ain't my
You know what I'm
problem.
saying? So it's just like, don't feel obligated. Don't feel obligated to like, okay, I got to tell this person that I'm not interested. Like, no, it's okay. Like, they can love you or like you from afar. It has nothing to do with you emotionally. So I don't think it's the person's responsibility. So if that's you, I'm sorry.
Well, so, and I would say though, but at the same time, if they're trying to get to know you, you do need to make it clear at that point, right? Like if they're pursuing you, if they're flirting a little extra hard.
They're making their intentions known.
Yeah, you probably need to let them know.
Yeah, cool. I want to kind of go back to this flirting thing, and then we'll take a question from the audience. I think when flirting gets too far is when it gets physical. And I'm particularly coming after women for this one. No. So them sisters in Christ, they famous for like just running a hand down your spine or... Am I wrong? It's not just me.
What?
It's not just me. And
Wait,
and you just like...
hold on.
Wait a minute.
But guys are famous for, yes. Why is your leg on my thigh though? Guys do that. Christian guys do that. Saved guys, keep your hands to yourselves, in your pocket preferably, please.
So I'm with you, guys or girls. Don't touch me. Because I think at that point, you're not flirting, you're trying to arouse. And that's manipulative. Because you're trying to trap them instead of attract them.
That's a message. That's a word, Pastor.
That's
a
good.
word. That's a sermon.
That's good.
I could go a whole night without preaching. Somebody got a question. Boom. No.
This is your one opportunity.
They're nervous.
Let's do this one. I'm going to skip around. How much information is too much to share with a boyfriend/girlfriend versus a spouse? I'll take off the spouse part because you're not married if you're in here, unless you're on the platform. Spouse is easy. There's never too much information to share with your spouse. The Bible says they were naked and unashamed. That's the easy one. How much is too much information to share with a boyfriend or girlfriend?
Don't give them your social security number. I did that one time and it didn't go well. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
You know, it's always annoying, like the first date when you said my last boyfriend or my last girl and stuff like that. I think it's all timing.
Yeah.
Like you don't want to bombard them in the beginning of everything that you've been through and this, that, and the other. Because they're gonna feel like you have way too much drama. So I think, especially in the beginning, be honest. Sometimes there's like moments where you just feel very comfortable with the person, but especially the first couple of dates, don't share everything, because then you feel like they know everything about you, and
Keep your cards close.
I think some people can I don't say use that against you, but it gets a little tricky, especially if they're not the one that the Lord has for you.
Yeah, I always say your relationship should be different when you're dating versus when you're married. It shouldn't look the same. If it looks exactly the same, then there's an issue. So that means you put all your eggs into that basket while you guys were just dating. So there should be a noticeable difference between the two.
What's the difference? Because, there's some folks, even they're dating, it's almost like you practice how you play. That concept where I want to come across them very trusting. I want to, because you're starting to make decisions, especially if you are dating, like, you're making some big decisions sometimes, like whether you continue to go to school, or there's so many different things that you have to consider. So what is the difference?
It could be a lot of different things. It can be, what do you want to name your son and daughter? When you guys have kids. It can be, where you see yourself in 5 years, depending on like how big or how small your goals are. It can be little things, but I always told myself that I have to like guard myself just in case like this relationship doesn't work, and now this person knows every single thing about me, and then you're like blown. It looks different for everybody. Like there's just certain things about yourself that you don't necessarily want to share because you're not trying to give that person husband privileges or wife privileges. Like, you shouldn't do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So all that is different for every single person. So it just depends on who you are.
I think one of the things that I see that really concerns me as a pastor is people pretending like they're married and they're not. Like, you're making life plans together and you're planning things out and all that kind of stuff. And there's no ring, there's no commitment, there's none of that. Right. And Pastor Carlos used to call it an abnormal marriage, where you're pretending like you're married. We're planning each other's, how we're going to pay each other's debt off and what our careers are going to look like and, you know, all that garbage. And it's just like, you ain't married. I'll say this and I'll throw this out there and maybe pick another question. I think there's different stages to dating, and I think the different stages of dating, the level of intimacy in conversation, the level of transparency should change. I think there should always be a spy out the land time. You should never be like, oh, she's fine, oh, he's cute, let me go ask him out. You should always do a little bit of research before. Most awkward thing ever, I was going through PZ's Instagram before we started dating. Y'all ever done that before? And you accidentally like a picture from like a year ago, and you're just like, crap. Do I unlike it?
I saw it.
Yeah, that was bad. That was bad. That's when you got caught spying.
It's cute.
But there should also be you can find out a lot about a person before you even ask them out. By watching how they interact with other people. Are they overly flirtatious with everyone? Are they, scattered brain? Are they mean to people? Blah, 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 blah. So you have that season. And then when you first start dating, and I think this is a really big deal, the only goal of the first, I would say 6 to 12 weeks is to have fun. I find when people start dating, they get too serious, too fast. Like, just have fun, enjoy, goof and laugh. And here's why. Because people will be more honest with you when they're having fun than they will when you're interviewing them or interrogating them. Honesty will slip out when you're laughing and having fun. Yeah. But when it's just, so tell me, how many kids do you want to have? How much money do you make? Like, all that, they are going to give you the answer that they think you want to hear as supposed to. So there's that. And then after about 3 to 4 months, there's like, okay, either I know that this is a possibility or it's not. And if it is, then the questions and the conversation needs to be a little bit more in depth. So tell me, you got children? What is your credit score?
You should ask them about their credit score?
You should ask them about their credit score.
Should you ask them how much they make?
No, I don't think you should ask them how much they make until you're in marriage counseling. Like, you can guess. You can guess. I mean, you can.
I don't know if they agree.
I'll tell you right now, I ain't telling no chick how much I make until, well, I'm married, so she knows. But am I right, Lil Fofo?
Yes.
Ain't none of your business.
You don't agree, Sonia?
Talk to me.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Why not?
Well, I think it's important to know, especially someone that you're interested in and you see a future with before marriage counseling, that you do have an understanding of what they make. I think it's important.
So you're going to ask them, like, how much do you make?
Are you in
If we can ask credit scores, if we can ask about, I think that it's important. It's absolutely important. Yeah.
Come on, Calvin.
But at what stage? Like, where are we? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think after the 6 to 12 weeks of having fun, and then you're starting to talk about because at that point you know if this is someone you want to pursue more, right? Then.
So here's my question. You can see what they drive.
Right.
That don't mean nothing.
No. Hold on. Let me finish. Hold on. You can see what they drive. You can see where they live.
They could be very frugal.
You shouldn't be going to their house.
You can see.
They make 30,000, but my mom is paying my car note, or my parents are.
I feel like a guy whose mom is paying his car note and somebody else is paying his rent, there's going to be other things that are wrong with him, and you can pick that up without. You know what I mean? Like, he's going to act childish. There's no way you're going to have a guy who's mature, who can hold a conversation, who can impress you, but his mama paying his car note and he lives with his sister and like...
But he can also be living above or below his means.
Say again?
He can be living above or below his means. So let's say somebody can make $80,000 and drive a Benz. Someone can also make $40,000 and drive a Benz.
So don't get caught up on the car. I'm not just saying a car. You can't get approved for a lease if you don't make money. Like,
but if you have a roommate.
Or you have a cosigner.
But you'll find that out.
But the thing about it is you can also have, there's so many, I think that's not a clear indicator of how much they make. You can guesstimate, but the thing about it is in today's society, especially in 2019, a lot of people, unfortunately, are living above their means. So you could be out here flexing for the gram and broke.
I don't think that's none of your business, though.
If we're talking about marriage, it is very much my business.
We're not talking about marriage yet. We just got through the first 8 weeks.
Even if we the first 8 weeks, you can't be flexing for the gram. No. No, I'm not telling you on the first date. I'm not gonna say on the first date like, oh, so how much do you make? What's your, your benefits and all that? No, but in like 3-4 months, I should know.
You got retirement? You got health insurance?
In 3-4 months, I should be able to comfortably ask you how much you make and stuff like that. I think those are very important questions, actually.
Come on, Jenny, help us out here. Stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up. You have to stand up. Give it up for Jenny from the block.
So I think it's not necessarily the amount that matters, but how you spend your money. So we're gonna have conversation about, okay, well, do you tithe? Okay, what percent do you put towards saving? What percent do you do towards this? How are you paying back your student loans? Do you have student loans? I don't need to know the number, I need to know your habits.
I agree with that. I'd answer all those questions.
That's good.
I still ain't telling you how much I make. Is it appropriate for a woman to pay for a date?
What stage of this? What stage are we in?
Go ahead, Calvin. Come on,
little papa. Is this the first date?
So I think I'm about to give a very unpopular opinion.
Uh-oh.
It's 2019 and a lot of women. Let me finish. Let me finish.
Oh, you're done.
Let me finish. Let me finish.
Let me finish. That was a bad start, bro. That was a bad start. Go ahead.
More women are asking men out now.
We'll get to that next. Come on.
So I'm not saying that the woman has to pay for the date, because if you ask me out, I'm still going, pay for the date or something like that. But there are conversations that I've had with other men who say, if she asks me out, absolutely she has to pay for the date.
Wait, hold on.
Sonia, you want to...
There are some men with that mode of thinking.
We know why you single.
I didn't say me.
I'm ignorant.
I said I would pay for the date, but you asked to not.
That was petty. Go ahead, Sonia.
So I think it's okay for a woman to pay for a date. I think that, the approach is, I don't always expect the man to pay for a date, right? So he should be paying sometimes, maybe I should be paying sometimes if it's something I want to do, tickets to a concert. I think that's, I think that's
I don't think, when we were dating, I don't think I ever paid
I wouldn't let you.
For the date, ever. No.
Since we're having fun, I think a man that lets a woman pay for a date is a punk.
I do too.
Now, let me clean that up also.
Now,
I think after like the 7th date, she should reach for the check. Now, I'm not gonna let you take it, but you should reach for it.
yes, I think that's true. 'Cause there's no sense of it. You don't want to have a sense of entitlement. Well, I'm gonna order, 2 appetizers, an entree, dessert, and
tell about your ignorant friend.
No.
Go ahead.
So you don't want to have this sense of entitlement. I think, though, as the man is being very generous on dates, then females, we have now responsibility to show that we're generous as well.
Yeah.
So there are different things that we can do to show that we have a generous spirit as well. So different things that, maybe, I don't know, you can think of creative ways to show them. Like, I work and I have money as well, and I steward as well. And so, but I do prioritize you, and I want to let you know that I'm thankful for all the different, 4-star, 5-star places that we've been to, because it's 4-star, 5-star places.
So let me ask you this, and we need to do like some guys help women out, women help guys. For the women in here that are dating or when you date, let him pay for the meal, but buy him sneakers.
Yes.
Let me
buy him a belt. Yes.
Because let me say this, and I'll never forget when me and PZ were dating. Literally, I'd pay for every meal, and like every month, a Zara box is coming to my door with her name on it. Shoes, jacket, clothes, and I said, that's the keeper. Here's why. Because she's not entitled and she's not selfish, she's generous. And I don't want a selfish, entitled woman. I'm gonna pay, but you better act like I'm not supposed to. Yeah. And you better do the little crocodile arm where you pretend to grab for the check, but you're... Because here's the thing. Nobody wants to date someone who's not grateful. And it is my job to pay, but don't act like it. Act like you appreciate the generosity. Act like you appreciate the gratitude. Act like if we ever get married, this thing at some point will be mutual and not, bless God. Is it appropriate for a woman to ask a man out on a date?
Someone said no. Who says no? Okay.
Give me somebody else.
Can we give a mic?
Justina, can you help us out? No? Yes? Come on, hop up. Give it for Justina.
Hey! Yes, Justina.
No? Okay, somebody else. Is it appropriate? Come on. Yeah.
Right there.
Stand up. Give us your name.
Hi, my name is Isokin.
Okay. Hey, Isokin.
Are you single?
I am single.
Where's your name tag? Okay, cool.
It dropped. Sorry.
Go for it.
Personally, I don't think it's appropriate for a woman to ask a man out on a date. I feel like men are the hunters. So it is your responsibility to hunt for the woman that you want. So I'm not going out of my way to look for you. I'm the prize.
Oh! I would come give you a high five if I get out there. Any fellas in here? Come on, all the way in the back. Anthony. Give me.
Anthony.
I feel like this is the State of the Union than the rebuttal.
What up, though? Me personally, I do not believe it's okay for the woman to ask a man out on a date.
Go ahead.
Because the man is supposed to be the pursuer.
You talking good now.
If the woman is asking a man on a date, he has not made a decision on whether he wants to pursue just yet.
Oh, okay.
And so you're left with a position where a man might feel he is not quite sure, but, she's cool. Let's just see where it goes.
That's so good.
And then it's way different when the man is pursued. He knows he wants to go after, and he follows through.
That's so good. That's so good.
Good.
So,
someone says yes.
Somebody says it is appropriate. Anybody who says it is appropriate? And it's a brother, too. I'm so disappointed in you.
Don't do it.
Give us your name.
Hello, everyone. My name's Emmanuel.
Are you single?
I am.
You waiting on somebody to ask you out?
No.
Clearly.
but I am single, lady.
Pray for me, brother. I'm just ignorant. Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
But I actually kind of disagree with these, the lady and the gentleman. I think it's 100% appropriate.
100, not even 95?
100%. Because, let's be realistic, though. A lot of women are unapproachable. It's true.
You talking good. Yeah, I agree with that.
Oh, okay.
A lot of women don't make themselves open to even be approached, right?
Yeah.
So,
That's good.
You gotta like shoot your shot. I always say closed mouths don't get fed. So if you want what you want, you gotta be approachable.
So Emmanuel, stand up. Here would be my argument with you, and I completely agree with you. Some girls are just unapproachable. They dating Jesus or whatever. They don't need a man, whatever. My opinion is a woman that's unapproachable is just not mature enough to be in a relationship. So you just let her do what she does. and go find somebody who knows. Here's my, go ahead.
Personally, I also think, and this is going to be super spiritual, so
go ahead.
For the non-spiritual folk, the Bible says, he who findeth a wife findeth a good thing. So that, to me in itself, just lets me know that it's my job to pursue the woman.
Let me add the non-spiritual side to that.
Go ahead.
This is just the way that God's wired us as men. We do not value what we do not have to work for. So if you make it easy for us, we will not value you. And you can't start off on the wrong road and end up at the right destination. Does that make sense? The relationships that not always work, but the way that you want it set up is you want to feel like you are dating, ultimately marrying a woman who's way out of your league. Like you tricked her into dating you, like you worked for that. And vice versa. You want a guy who you're like, I hope he don't wake up and realize who he's dating. Like, I hope I get this. You want this mutual, like, awe. And when the woman pursues the man, listen to me, he knows he has you. Like, he doesn't have to work. There's no effort. There's no, I got it in my back pocket. Why would I work for that? And it gets into this, she's here to serve me. She's here for me and all that. And you're just not going to end up in a healthy place if you start off there. Another one, I don't know where it is. Tech probably hates me. Is it appropriate? If someone asks you out on a date, is it something that you have to pray over before saying yes or no? And then another question in there was asking, do I need to ask spiritual authority before I say yes or no? Let's do the prayer part first.
I think if somebody approaches you, it shouldn't catch you completely off guard. So because
sometimes it does.
If it does, then in that moment, I think you have to go think about it. I don't know about pray about it, but if you're completely caught off guard by somebody who approaches you, then he's not necessarily doing a great job.
He didn't do his work.
Of spying out your land and making himself known. So if you're completely caught off guard, I think maybe take a step back before you answer. Pray about it, speak to your mentor, whoever about it, probably. But if it's somebody that he's been spying out your land, you can kind of tell he likes you or he's interested. I think at that point, you should be comfortable or not, whether or not you can say no by yourself. But definitely for me, I know I talked to my sister, my mentor. I definitely prayed about it. But I was already kind of certain of what I was going to do before he even approached.
That's so good.
I will say, I think sometimes for folks that, whether they go to a different church, their group of their people, I guess, aren't familiar with the person. So if the person is coming out of nowhere, maybe you've seen them once, but you don't really they're not on your dream team. They don't go to your church. You hear that they're Christian and all that. I think then it gets a little bit more, I need to pray about it. I want to get them around. I want to get them around my people before we start going, because they could be really crazy. You don't know, because some folks, you just don't know what they do. You just don't know anything, and I think that's some realities out there. Now, if they are, I always say before a one-on-one, you should take time to, we're using the term spy out the land. You should kind of just observe them a little bit, just to see how, again, they interact. Are they, can you all gel? Because some folks, it's no. Your breath's always stinky, when I come behind you. Because sometimes if you've been around them, if you kind of observe them, you have a little bit of, you already know that it's just not going to work.
Yeah. I don't think you should go on a date with a stranger. Because, go ahead.
So, no.
I don't think you should ever go on a date with a stranger. Mm-hmm. Because if you're going on a date with a stranger, it's 100% physical attraction. Because you don't know anything about them. And physical attraction is important, but it's not enough to move on. So you are not guarding your heart, you're wasting your time, and you're setting yourself for trouble.
I don't know if I agree.
You're not allowed to disagree with me. The people are watching. Go
Again,
ahead.
because
we're going to argue right in front of these people. Go ahead.
Because they may not, they could be a really great person that you don't just because again they don't go to your church or they're not in your immediate circle doesn't mean you don't. Doesn't mean that they're automatically a bad person. Now, because I think that you can meet
What
someone.
church do they go to?
Well, what if they go to another reputable church and they're
When's
serving
their young
on their
adults
dream
night,
team?
connect group night, worship night, clean up the building night?
So if someone, let's give you an example. There's some conference coming up, right? Local conference. A lot of people are going to the conference, and so you end up seeing someone that, oh my, I like the way she raises her hand.
I like the way you worship. No diggity.
No, you see them from afar, I'm like, okay, and then you find them on social media and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Two different worlds, but you as a guy, you're a great guy and all that stuff. You don't know them. What are you saying that they should do?
Put yourself in their world.
So they should automatically put, okay, what if they, at a gas station,
Say
you
again?
see them?
Absolutely not. I don't even know if they're a Christian at a gas station.
Someone has their hand up, and we'll come back to you.
Go ahead. Is another wrong person? Stand up, stand up, stand up. Give me your name.
Hello, I'm Aniola.
Okay. Are you single?
Yes.
You got the blue check. You're good.
So what about people sliding in your DMs?
And can girls slide in DMs? That was the question.
Can they slide?
Should girls be sliding?
I think. I'll go back to you don't
thing?
start off on the wrong road and end up at the right place. I think sliding in the DM is one of the most cowardice ways to approach somebody. Because basically what you're doing is you're guarding yourself from, if they're not interested, if they don't say yes, if they don't say no, I don't have to deal with the rejection. So it's like you just slid them the note. Do you want to go out with me? Circle yes, no, maybe. If you want to ask me out, you can't ask me out because I'm a guy. If you're going to ask a girl out, you need to walk up to her and use words. I don't care if you have her phone number. Don't text her to ask her out. Maybe a phone call if you guys have been building a relationship or whatever it may be. But don't text her, don't DM her. That's cowardice.
But what if they're not in your circle? Like, what if we
you
were
got-
all at a conference like she mentioned, and I saw you, and we happened to have mutual friends. I like the way you were worshiping, and I wanted to ask you about when the next conference is and where your church is.
Social media flirting. You can comment on their pictures, and you can make your presence known via DM. But don't DM me and tell me you're interested. Don't DM me, ask me what I'm doing on Friday. That's cowardice.
I see what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
Cool. All right, I got another fun one. Should I date someone godly that I do not find attractive?
No. You're not waking up next
Sounds
to
like y'all are wise people. Do we even need to address that?
No.
That's real though.
Some people prioritize, though, their godliness over attraction. I'm not
Can
that
I
person.
talk about that for a little bit?
What?
I think that there's a lot of super spiritual women in church that they think that because they know more scripture than him, that he can't lead her spiritually.
I think you need to say that again.
I think there's a lot of super spiritual women in church that because they know more scripture than him, they think he can't lead them.
Okay.
Now, I get it that there's always church, there's lost people, there's people getting saved and all that. So there's always people, Katrina sounds like you.
Go ahead.
But I think there's just this automatic relegation that because I don't necessarily hear the spirituality the way that it comes out of a woman's mouth, that he's not spiritual. As if spiritual was what I know, as opposed to what I apply to my life and what I live. So I feel like a lot of women, they cut themselves off from really good men because they make preconceived notions that he can't be the spiritual head of my family or whatever it may be.
So good.
Just because they didn't see him at all 21 days of prayer or...
I think a lot of women compare like guys like to their pastors. So I think like a lot of women want their boyfriend to be like their pastor, so they want the boyfriend to be able to preach like their pastor, want the boyfriend to be able to pray like a pastor. Like everyone is different, you know what I'm saying? Like everyone's spiritual life is different. Everyone relates to God differently. I can expect my wife to now, or girlfriend to now, worship the way another woman worships. That's just how another woman worships, you know what I'm saying? So I think I felt that it was like that in our relationship at first, because she was like drilling me, because like she relates to God like differently than I do. And my pursuit of God looks different than hers. But she was like concerned. Like she would come up to me like, I feel like you're not reading your Bible enough. I feel like you're not praying enough. And I'm like, bro, wait, hold on.
Now, okay, for real, like to be really real, I was like, you and your friends are not serious. Y'all don't know the Lord for real. Y'all don't pursue. I was really like this. I was really like this.
The whole crew.
Yeah, the whole crew, actually. But I love y'all now, though, if you're here. But yeah, so I just want to say, like, just to encourage ladies to just give them a chance, you know? Give them a chance.
You're going to say something?
Yeah, I think fruit is important, even if you are a female and you know a ton of scriptures, but if you're evil and you don't have fruit, right? So I think it's the same. I think fruit is important, and I think it looks differently for various folks, but that's what you need to be looking at.
Not just like evil women who know a lot of scripture. I think there's women that think that they're spiritual, but they're really like sheltered and hiding from the real world.
Absolutely.
And they're like the little prophetess women that hide in the temple.
Right.
And
right. Yes.
This is just a pet peeve, so.
It is.
All right, we're almost out of time. Is there any questions that we didn't hit? I want to take just a few.
There's someone almost standing
Let's
up in
do
the back.
Belle first.
Okay.
And then we'll do Fantasia,
And then we'll
come like one or two. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead, Belle. Stand up for me. Give us your name, even though I just said it.
Oh, my name is Belle.
Belle, are you single?
Yes.
Really?
Really? I heard you weren't.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
How'd that happen?
Okay. Well, I'm about to ask you.
Okay.
Fellas, what are y'all doing?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
So my question is kind of based off of your message on Sunday, and you talked about like one of the things you should be looking for in dating is making sure that you're going in the same direction and making sure you have the same vision.
Mm-hmm.
How granular does that need to be?
Say it one more time. What's the last part?
Granular. Like how, when you're talking about the same vision, for example, PZ, is her vision kind of the same as yours now? Like how can he have a separate vision from you and you support that? Like how does there have to be some sort of link? If I'm a blogger, does he have to be a photographer? Like
That'd be convenient.
It would.
Free pictures. Cool.
But how linked does it need to be? And I'm asking because my last two relationships, well, they're moving to Nigeria, whatever the case. But I guess they had a vision, and I supported it, but it sent them somewhere else that I wasn't going. So I'm just trying to figure out, like, how similar does that vision need to be? Like, what should I be looking for? Does he need to be in a similar field? Does he need to be pursuing the same things I'm pursuing? Or can he have his own, and I have my own, and we support each other?
That's so good.
That's very good.
Go ahead. I don't even know what to ask you. Just go ahead, talk.
I think people do kind of relate with that. I was talking to Temi about it the other day, and you don't have to, I don't believe you necessarily have to be a blogger and a photographer for it to work. Now, if you happen to be, like, both of you are very, very creative, so it works. I'm very different, but very, very creative, so it works in a really special way. So you don't have to be, again, in similar fields and going similar fields, but you kind of have to be going in the same direction. For me, when we were dating, I was, even before we were dating, I was a nurse, and I thought at the time that I was going to do nursing for some time. I really did. But I remember I'm like, Lord, but I need a vision for my life, because I didn't know. I was just doing it for the money, which is important too. No, be secure, financially secure. Let me move on.
Don't be broke.
Don't be broke. But the point is, I remember I'm like, Lord, I need you to speak to me. Like, what have you called me to do? And I think that's important. Before anyone starts to date and even get serious about engagement and all of that, you really need to know, like, what is it? I wanted to have something specific for me, because I needed that. I'm more of those passionate people. If I'm doing this, this is what I'm doing, and I'm focused about it. So I remember really, and I did a lot of praying, a lot of fasting, because I just had no idea. This whole concept of purpose and destiny, you kind of hear it, and it floats around in the ether and stuff like that. I'm like, yes, God has a plan, but what is my plan? I needed it for me. And I remember it was in our internship program, just really hearing the Lord clearly, like, your hands are made for healing. You are made for healing. But it took a lot of prayer for me to get to a place to hear that. And so I'm a nurse. This makes sense. So healing. And then the Lord was just speaking to me a lot about ministry. I just knew. I almost had a vision that we were going to be in Panera. I'm going to see someone. I and my spouse was going to see someone that was like really sick, and we were both going to kind of look at each other like, are you thinking what I'm thinking? Yes, let's go pray for him. So I just knew in my head, like, healing and just speaking about God's hope and healing had to be something that they were passionate about. Not that they had to be a preacher or anything like that, but they had to love ministry as much as I loved ministry, and they had to just believe in just the supernatural disability of God, because my hands are made for healing. Like, that's what I felt like the Lord had given to me. He didn't necessarily say, you're going to be a nurse, but he gave me an idea, a concept that made sense to me. So him being in ministry, I guess it just kind of worked out. Now, did you want to comment to that? Because
Fantasia will know about this. She's like, what do I know about? One of my heroes and mentors, Pastor Joel Stocksdale, he said this, and it's for men, but it's really for women. He said, run after what God's called you to run after, and one day you're going to look up and you're going to notice someone's running in the same world as you. You're not sitting around waiting for someone. I'm going after what God's called me to.
Yeah.
And what you're going to find out is they just happen to be in the same place, not because they're stalking you, but because they're kind of running after the same thing. I looked up and PZ was at every prayer meeting, every internship, everything that the church was doing, and she wasn't there for me. She was just there because that was her passion and that was her heart. So I think that is a really big deal. I don't think there has to be a mutual vision for careers. I think, I don't know. I think there's even stuff like, well, they don't want to have a lot of kids, and I do want to have a lot of kids. That's a differing vision. They don't want to travel a lot, and traveling is really important to me, that kind of stuff. Watch this. When you fall in love with someone,
things change.
You change. So I think sometimes there's these deal breakers that they're like, that's not my vision for my life, so that's not my man, or that's not my woman, or whatever it may be. And you'll be surprised how much what is right now will not be 3 years from now. That's why I think it's really important to never date by yourself.
So good.
Have people that know you and that you trust that can be like, I don't think they're heading the same direction you're heading. Or, and I'm not going to put somebody on blast, but somebody that I hooked up was like, I ain't talking to him. And I'm like, no, give him a chance. I promise you, he can't leave me. I'm like, I promise you he can. And they were ready to brush it. They're married to him now 4 or 5 years. And happy and in love and all that. Because let me speak to another thing. Sometimes a lot of women are just like, well, I'm super ambitious, so I can't marry a guy who's not ambitious. You never marry a guy who's lazy and wimpy, limp noodle and all that.
Limp noodle. I don't know what a limp noodle is.
You can imagine though.
Okay.
But if you're taking over the world and he's taking over the world, what's happening at home? Does it make sense? Sometimes, like, I want somebody who can run right next to me. Do you really want somebody who can run right next to you, or do you want somebody who has cold lemonade in their hand when you run through the front door? So make sense? So sometimes what we call competing visions actually are complementing visions. Because at the rate that I'm running, I need somebody who's going to slow me down because I have a propensity to run too fast and vice versa. Fantasia, what you got? and then we're going to land this plane, and then y'all get to do the jungle
All right,
stuff.
Pastor Stephen. Obviously, you know me.
I know
Sonya
you.
knows me.
Yeah.
But I'm a stranger to the house.
Yeah. You ain't
So
never
I
been a
wanna go
stranger
back.
nowhere you went.
You're right, amen. But seriously, I want to kind of go back to that. And the PZ set a great example. If you go to a conference, I want to expound on this stranger thing. And I know being in the house, and I was thinking, yes, you have this covering in the house, but really, if I'm in my house in Fredericksburg, Virginia, it's limited there, right? And so I'm like, I'm gonna position myself and get out, and that's what I'm doing. But I'm a stranger here, so I want you to expound on a little bit about dating someone who may approach me at a gas station or at a conference, like PZ said. I mean, I think I'll be open if they're at that same conference. If we don't go to we're not in the same covering, so I was just hoping to expound on it just a little bit, just to help those who may be limited in the land.
What's that movie we saw? A Good Man or something like that? When she dated a guy, he was like psycho crazy, cocaine, that guy. Look, this is now me being a pastor. Don't date no joker that comes up to you as a gas station. That's just some Jack the Ripper type stuff. You're going to end up on the news. Don't do that. Don't do that.
What about taking the phone number, though?
Go ahead.
The phone. So if you meet someone at a gas station or a restaurant, right, you're not going to go out on a date with them at that point. But what about exchanging information? And start to talk to him and get to know that person.
You can be friends.
So here's what I would say. And if you see the guy at the conference or whatever it may be, there's nothing wrong with phone number per se. There's nothing wrong with, you can find him on Instagram or whatever it may be. But I'm not going to date you because that's trouble. I'm going to bring you into my world, or I'm going to insert myself into your world.
I agree.
Does that make sense? And I'm going to get you around people who know me that can vet you out long before I give you a shot. Does it make sense? Because you got to guard your heart. And we said we're not going to get super spiritual, but when Jacob went to get a wife, they said, go to family. Go to people that are in our network, in our connection. You get in trouble when you get out there on your own. Yeah, cool. Sonya is the last one, then I'm going to ask my own questions. Stand up. Sonya.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. Are you single?
I am single.
Cool.
I just had a question. So I guess more expounding on that whole stranger thing and stuff like that. What do you think about dating apps? Like, how does that work? What do you do with that? Or do you not do anything with that?
I love that question.
Dating apps are dangerous. That's just my personal. It's a lot of weirdos out there, and a lot of them are on the dating apps. So my advice would just be careful on the dating apps.
No, because you see a lot more sometimes females than you see males. Just being honest, sometimes you find more females in the church serving or whatever the case might be. So I think there's some women, I'm like, where are the men, you know? If I don't see them around
Put your hands
me.
down, Shay. Your man right there. Yeah, asking for a friend. I'm bored. If you're a guy in here and you're single, can you stand up real quick? Can you stand up?
Stand up tall.
Stand up. Come on now.
Raise your shoulders.
Come on. Look around. Okay, thank you. Go ahead, sit down. So they in here.
And some of them did not stand up.
Some of them did not stand up because they're losers.
They do that.
I think, I don't think there's anything wrong with dating apps. I think that there's a lot of weirdos. There's a lot of people out there that are just not serious. I'm a big proponent of bring them into your world. So where you find them, but I'm not going out on a one-on-one date just because you swipe, what is it, left, right,
Okay,
wherever
so
you
example, you see them you're on a dating app, because let's say you're over 31 or over just 25, 27, whatever, and you're on a dating app and you see them and they're not crazy, they're not saying on their profile that sex is one of the things that they do for their hobbies and stuff like that. So because sometimes, because you're trying to you're trying to date the godly way and all of that, and it's just okay. Because sometimes that's a big deal. Like, this person is so great, but they are okay with premarital sex and don't think anything of it. And so they've passed all of that. They don't seem crazy. The next step is to say, come to my church.
No, no, that's weird.
So what do you say? A group of my friends are doing something?
I say me and my 3 homegirls are hanging out at wherever it may be with a couple fellas, come, let's hang out.
Okay.
Yeah. Definitely not at church.
Okay. I just wanted to make that clear.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is just create an environment that they can come to.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if they don't want to, they were never serious. We're going to end with one question. Who has a really...
Now,
you look like you have a good one. Go. Who would you want?
Someone was standing. Maybe 2.
We might do 2.
Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead. Stand up. You gotta stand up. Give us your name.
Hello. My name's Amina. And my question is, what is the difference between talking to a stranger on a dating app and giving them a chance, but not feeding into somebody at a gas station? Because I think at both points, you don't know the person. You're not necessarily clear on their intentions. So what is the difference between a dating app and meeting someone in the flesh, but not necessarily?
Awesome. Good question. Great question. Now, I will have to be honest with you. I have never been on a dating app because, like Calvin and all the other fellas know, when you're a Christian in church, you don't need no app. But as far as I know, if you've been on the apps, as far as I know, you set up some type of profile where you're giving me a little information about you. I'm assuming there's some type of back and forth. It's not just, I see you, let's go on a date, but it's some type of click, like, DM, text message, something like that. There's an exploratory process even through the app before it is moving on to come hang out with my friends or whatever. Gas station is, can I get your number? It's at $30. It needs to stop before 35, so I need to know now. Does it make sense? There's a very rushed urgency to that. Say again?
How's that different than if somebody approaches you in an Instagram DM versus the dating app? I just feel like the two are both very, very similar.
I agree with you. Let's just not do gas stations. And we'll stick with the app. I ain't gonna fight you in the DM. If somebody's sliding your DM, go for it. Just make sure you don't go on a date with them. Make sure you bring them around your friends and you hang around their friends before you're sitting in a restaurant just one-on-one. Because you're already too deep into that thing, and you figure out before the appetizer gets there that they're just crazy.
That's good.
Yeah.
There was another question in the
Go
back.
ahead, stand up.
Yep,
You have to go around this way, Devin. And then we're going to land because we didn't come here to talk all night, right?
No.
Run, babe, run.
Hi, everyone.
How you doing? Give me your name.
Oh, my name
And you're
is
going to have the
Paola.
last word tonight.
Okay.
Oh, you wrote it down.
She wrote it down.
I love it.
Texted to my friend and screenshot it so I don't forget.
Yeah.
Basically, how do you stay grounded in a relationship and set boundaries when things become sexual?
Say it one more time. Say it one more time.
Oh,
This just got good.
How do you stay grounded in a relationship and set boundaries when things become sexual? And also, basically when an incident happens, do you break up or do you repent and keep your distance from the person?
Give me, no, hold on. Make sure I get this one. Give it to me one more time. You said something about break up, repent, distance. I'll make sure I hear you right.
When the incident happens, do you break up with the person? Do you go repent and keep your distance from the person, or what do you do?
That's a really good question.
Go ahead.
I think it comes down to your heart for Christ. At the end of the day, you can make mistakes, but you don't give up on yourself in a way. I used to be a bit judgmental as far as what happens in a relationship goes, and you hear the horror stories or things like that when somebody does something, or two people do something that maybe they shouldn't do, or they go too far in some certain area or something like that. But it's about grace, and if you are allowed to give yourself grace, you should give a couple grace, and the couple should be able to give themselves grace. If your heart is in the right place, if your heart is stayed on God, and you're making a mistake, then you would never give up on yourself. You'd never say, I'm going to break up with myself. And then what are you going to do? You're going to stop living, or you're going to stop moving forward? No, you're going to work on that. You're going to pray on that thing. You're going to pray on that issue. You're going to seek God's counsel on that, and maybe you'll find help. But at the end of the day, it's about where your heart is and moving forward with Christ. If you're both on the same page in that regard, then yes. If the other person disagrees and they think that there's nothing wrong with it, that's a problem. It's about what happened.
Welcome back, Tosin. Welcome back. Somebody turn that on first.
Okay, so I think that it's also about being very realistic. So I remember Pastor Stephen saying something in the core team where set your boundaries in what you can and cannot do when you're at your, when you're at your worst. Because a lot of times we set boundaries when we're at our highest. So it's like, oh, you can stay over till midnight because that's no problem. But then what about the day where you're sad and you're ready to risk it all because you just had that kind of week, right? Where it's like, and not risk it all. Oh, I meant, oh my God, guys, not like that, not like that. Not like that, not like that, not like that. But when you've had that kind of week when you're just down and you don't have your spiritual authority there, right? You need to set boundaries for that season of your life. It's easy to say, we can cuddle, we can do this when you're like reading your Bible every day. Your Bible plan don't even have to tell you. You already read it. You up to date. That's a good season of your life. And so boundaries are easy to keep then. But when you're not in that season, when things are going wrong, I think you should set your boundaries before. And then if you do fall, there's definitely grace, but I think there's also being realistic. So it's like, I think sometimes there's a line that we like to blur. So we like to say there's grace, but then like you still over at midnight, go home. Like go home. Or it's like there's grace, but like you can still come up for a little bit, but you know that you're like, that's a boundary, that's a line you've already crossed. And being very realistic, it's easy to cross the line time and time again when you crossed it once. So I think that I'm not gonna say that, I don't have the final say so, but I'm not gonna say that you should break up with the person, but I think that you should be very realistic with where you are in that relationship. If you are in a place where you know that you're not able to keep your boundaries for one reason or another, you need to take a step back. I think that a lot of times we like to say, oh, well, there's grace and like, whatever, but like, don't come upstairs or don't sit in a car together. I think that I know couples where it's like, we don't kiss anymore. To cut that out. So it's like, there's no more, you don't even have to like worry about like, oh, are we gonna slip and fall? Don't kiss. Ain't no slipping and falling nowhere. Don't kiss me. You know what I'm saying? And then if the person is respecting that, if the person is respecting of your decision, you guys are able to come to a consensus together, then definitely try to move forward. Of course, be under your spiritual authority. Definitely, like Pastor Stephen said, don't date alone. Like, your spiritual authority is not here to be your mom. They're here to literally guide you, especially if they've been in that position. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they've done it before. But I think that be very realistic with yourself.
You're about to say something?
I think what's very important is accountability and being honest with those that you're doing life with. So in addition to setting boundaries, like talking to girlfriends, talking to your guy friends, like this is what happened. If you got to call me at X time so they need to go home, like you need to do that. And I think in terms of having grace, we certainly have to have grace, but sometimes we do have to make the hard decision and break up, right? Like if you're in a relationship with someone and you're consistently having sex with this person and you keep finding yourself falling and doing it again and again, you probably need to break up and seek some counsel.
Go ahead.
And to add what they said, I would also say it's very important to be self-aware, to know what you can and can't handle, and not be very wise not to put yourself in situations where you would be tempted to mess up, period. Like,
last thing I would say is if it doesn't hurt, it doesn't work. So basically, it's just like, yeah, you may want to be alone with the person, but it may just not work for you guys. So one thing that you guys did that I really appreciated, that I learned from, is like you guys hung out in public, like when you guys were going to dates.
Every diner.
We didn't do that all the time. So there were times where we definitely made our mistakes. And as far as just like showing grace to the person, it's just like, yeah, if you guys made an honest mistake, you guys made that honest mistake. But it's just like, if that person is intentionally trying to get you to sin, then it's just like, that's when you take it to God in prayer. Like, man, this person is intentionally trying to make me sin. But if it was just an honest mistake, have grace over the person and yourself, and just pray it doesn't happen again.
And like my final word would just be like, If you're the person that has like a stronger set of boundaries, you put your foot down. If you both don't agree on like what set of boundaries you should have, if you're the person that's like, I don't want to kiss anymore, I don't want to do this, then don't. If the person respects you, they'll still stay with you.
Yeah. I think, and this is me putting on my pastor hat now, people don't appreciate how God made them. God didn't make you to sit on a couch with somebody of the opposite sex, watch Netflix, and it not go somewhere it shouldn't go. He made you to take it a place that it's going to end where married people should end. That's how he made you. So somebody saying, you know, I'm strong enough, y'all weak, that's why y'all can't, y'all don't love Jesus. You're dumb. You just dumb.
Why is it that big of a deal?
So, science, God, he made you to be addicted to your spouse. So when you're aroused by somebody of the opposite sex, there are endorphins that are released in your body that are addictive. So not just sex, but when I am being aroused on a regular basis by the person that I'm dating, I'm becoming addicted physically to that feeling, which is why a lot of people stay in relationships with people that you know is not the right person, but you're now physically addicted to something that is emotionally and spiritually detrimental to your life. Watch this though. You're not physically addicted to them. You're physically addicted to being aroused by someone you're not married to. Well, it's no big deal. We slept before we got married, but we got married. But you got them addicted to what they're not allowed to have. So after you get married, they are still addicted to what they're not allowed to have. But I'm married to you, so I'm allowed to have you. So watch this. You're no longer any fun. You no longer get me there because you have trained me to be addicted to something I can't have. On that, this is where we end, right?
It's over. We're done.
So there are there are more married women and married men that are addicted to pornography, that are flirting with any and everybody, and it hasn't even gone to the place of physical adultery yet, but there's all this type of, I need to find something other than what I'm allowed to have because I've become addicted to what I cannot have. And people don't understand the fire that you are playing with, pardon my French, when you're screwing around. And there needs to be a urgency and a seriousness to, I'm defining the rest of my life. This is not just ooh, we made a mistake, ooh, we fell, ooh, you know, God knows my heart. By the way, and I need to stand up because we didn't. The Bible never said to pray lust away.
Flee.
The Bible only gave one remedy for lust. Watch this. Run. Can I take it a step further? The Bible says in Timothy, it says, flee youthful lust and pursue godliness. So what does that mean? It means that I have to avoid atmospheres where I'm going to get myself in trouble sexually. But here's where most Christians mess up. They don't fill that space with anything meaningful.
That's good.
So you have this big gap in your life with nothing to do. And if you don't got nothing to do, the enemy's going to make sure he gives you something to do.
In your DM.
By the way, something to do is not always church. Like, this is the pastor telling you, get out of church and go bowling, go hang out with your friends, go laugh, go watch a movie, go live your life. Like, connect group, all that other good stuff. Guys, put your hands together. Was that fun? So pull out your phone, pull out your phone, pull out your phone, pull out your phone. I am super, super committed as a pastor of this church to help you guys every possible way that I can. And one of the ways is connect groups. If you go to yourdestiny.church/connect groups, there's a tab on there that says single and dating. Here's what we want you to do. Continue this, not this conversation, but continue hanging out in connect groups. Our connect groups are so you don't stay single for the rest of your life. Woo-hoo. Find out what connect group the person you're interested in, want to get around, or whatever it may be, are in, and get in those connect groups. There's one that's happening here. Is that?
Yes, on
game
Friday.
night? Friday?
Game night, Friday.
Every other Friday, this building will be open for taboo, mafia, and sliding in DMs. Or whatever it may be. Amen. Can you guys put your hands together? Shea, come on, let us know what we're doing next.
All right. Did you guys have fun with the panel? Did you learn something? Hopefully. So for the rest of the night, it's going to be game night, right? And if you are dating and you're here with Bae, please stand up. Come on, y'all, don't be shy.
Are you going to dismiss him?
Yes, we are. That's what we're doing.
Hold on one second. I'm going to be a pastor. Can I pray for y'all?
He's going to pray.
One of the things that I'm believing from tonight is everybody's not going to leave with somebody. If I was single, you could do whatever you want. I wouldn't ask a girl out tonight just because I'm not a punk. I don't need the church help. So I would do it on Sunday or whatever. You could do whatever you want. But here's my biggest prayer. My biggest prayer is, that your faith would be built. That, man, God's going to send the right person. God has my right person. I'm not going to be a punk. I'm not going to be scared. I'm going to go after whoever I need to go after or whatever it may be. I know in terms of a woman, in terms of females, there's 50 women to 1 man is the ratio or whatever it may be. You're going to need faith that ratios don't apply to you. That God has something set apart for you, and you're not looking around to see what the options are. You know God's going to send that right thing and I want you to know, your pastor, your first lady and your pastor, we got your back. Bring that joker to me and I'll vet him for you. But we want to see God redeem this area. Amen. Hop up on your feet. Stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up.
Real quick, I think even to really stress this whole community thing, because you may say, I don't want to be in a connect group. You don't know that person, maybe a female, may have a brother or a friend who you could be perfect with. So you don't say no and go into a connect group. You really don't know who knows people.
Father God, we're grateful for every single person in this room, whether they're dating, whether they're single. God, you are the one that's involved, God. So I pray even now, God, those that have gone too far, those that have been in physically abusive relationships, dear God, those that have had their hearts broken, God, I pray that you would heal and that you would mend and that you would restore hope as only you can. God, for those that are scared, give them boldness, dear God. Those that are super spiritual, God, humble them. God, those that have not shot their shot, put a bullet in their gun, let them shoot their shot. Father God, we're praying that you would be involved and that you would do miracles in every single person's life. In the mighty name of Jesus we pray. Amen and amen.